Probably not. So without further ado, what we're going to cover today? Well, we're going to have a look at why you don't enjoy it, and actually how you can start enjoying it, how you can really start to grow your sales, even if actually you don't love the thought of selling. So first of all, thank you very much for giving me your time, which I know is your most valuable commodity. So thank you very much indeed. So a little bit more about me. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So first of all, well, I can't do a press talk. But then, to be honest, very few people can properly, I've noticed. And as already found on this webinar, I'm absolutely useless at technology. So it's been a bit of a challenging few months for me. Technology is definitely not my strong point at all. However, I can sell. So that is the good news. And probably most famously, I can sell these. So feel free, by the way, to make any comments in the chat at this point, if anybody would like to make any comments in the chat. Yes, those are condoms. And by the way, Megan, I've got no idea how to get rid of you on the screen there, but never mind. So yes, those are condoms. So I am most famous probably for winning lots of sales awards, particularly when I worked at Durex. Always makes me giggle. That's fine by me, Shemaine, we like a giggle. And those aren't jelly tops, those are in fact condoms. So I won Salesperson of the Year in 2007 and 8, so it's quite a long time ago now. But that kind of was the pinnacle and kind of, you know, where my sales career, before I went solo into sales training, really kind of went to. Thank you very much, Helen. Loving the bright colours, love it. I didn't realise there's so many colours of them. When Michael, what you might not have realised is that in fact, they're all different flavours, but that's another conversation for another time. So my awards are just here. Not that you need to see them, but my awards are just there. So I've won loads and loads of sales awards. So you're in very safe hands for these next 45 to 50 minutes. The other thing that you might be interested to know is I'm a fellow of the Institute of Sales and Management, which is the largest professional body for sales. And that's something I want to pick up on, that sales is a profession. It is actually a profession. I'm actually a DISC certified trainer, which is a personality profiling tool. I'm a fully qualified and L&D practitioner, and I'm also an accredited coach, a master's degree level coach, executive coach with the European Mentoring and Coaching Council. Woo, that's a mouthful. And also I was Sales Training Provider of the Year finalist last year at the BESMA Awards, which are for sales and marketing. So all of that, and lovely to see you too, Mary-Louise, and Pam, lovely to see you too. Hello to everybody. So let's have a look. Why do we actually hate sales? Now, I don't know if Megan can do this or not. If she can't launch the poll, which I'm not sure she can. No, she can't. Don't worry. I would like to ask you a question. So I want to ask you the question. When you hear the word sales or selling, what emotions does that bring up for you? And share those for me in the chat, please, if you would. So when you hear sales or selling, what emotions does that bring up for you? If you could let me know. And oh, look, here we are. We've got all the comments coming in now, which is amazing. Let's have a look at some of the comments. I'm expecting there to be quite a few similarities in the comments. Let's have a look. We've got lots of comments coming in now. So, cringe. Colden and overwhelmed, yeah, persuading people. Philip, I love the fact that you've put that, and of course sales should be nothing like that, but many people think it is. Absolutely. Let's have a look at some of the other comments we've got here. It leaves me cold, yeah, cringe, dread, fear. We've got all sorts of comments coming in, and actually that's probably why. Anxiety, yes, run away, says Marie-Louise, and Michael says discomfort, and all of those are pressure, yes. Nothing because I don't sell, but I'm brilliant at selling myself. That's interesting, Nicola. Okay, awkward. Okay, I can do it, but it's so hard at the moment. Lindsay, that's a really good point. I'd say it's different at the moment. It's definitely different at the moment. For me, actually, it's been a really period of growth. But I have really had to pivot to my business and take a lot of what I do online, hence this webinar that I'm doing today. So let's have a look at this. We've got a few more of the comments. Challenging at the present time. Yeah, that was from Jackie as well. Same here, I can do what I don't like. Lovely. Okay. So many of us feel like this about selling. This is what we think when we think about selling. We think it's this, don't we? Sleazy, perhaps a bit slimy, pushy and daunting. And of course, sales should be nothing like that. and certainly not for the modern day business owner and the modern day sales professional. You know, those 1980s films like, you know, The Wolf of Wall Street, those days have gone. And I know many of you feel a bit like this. You feel like you've actually got to hold a gun, literally, or water pistol in this case, to somebody's head in order to get them to buy your product or your service. And sales should be nothing like that at all. So what should sales be? It should be something very, very different indeed. So sales should be solving problems, helping our clients. It should be exciting and fun. And for me, I love everything there is about sales. And I do find it exciting and fun. But I also find it hugely rewarding because I help people to solve their problems. So when you think about selling is solving a problem for your client that they either can't or they won't solve for themselves. Those are the things. They either won't or they can't solve that problem for themselves. So that's what selling should be. And that's what this webinar is all about, is to give you all the tips and hints I can and lots of materials that are going to come up for free that will help you to start solving those problems on behalf of your clients. So what is selling then? So selling, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, is the exchange of money for a product or service. And I guess that's fine, because money makes the world go round, and we wouldn't be in business and we wouldn't be business owners unless we wanted to earn money. We should never feel afraid of that or ashamed of that, because that's what we need. You know, small businesses in the UK make up the majority of the economy. You know, when small businesses thrive, our economy thrives, which is why the economy is suffering right now, because small businesses are suffering. So we shouldn't ever apologise for wanting to make money. But here's the other thing when we talk about what is selling. Selling is a profession. And it's a profession that requires skill, training, and practice. So if I said to some of you the words role play, don't worry, we're not going to do one, by the way. I know some of you are panicking right now. What do you think when you hear the words role play or having to practice a sales skill? Share with me in the comments how you feel about that. But even this morning, I've been delivering some sales training, and people find it uncomfortable to practice. But actually, it's a profession. You know, you wouldn't expect me to go and deliver some brain surgery tomorrow. Well, if you did, it would have disastrous consequences, because I don't have the skill and I've not practiced and I've not been trained to do it. And selling is the same. But for some reason, when we become a business owner or we go into a sales job, there is like a bit of an expectation that we can just sell, that we should just be able to sell. But why would you be able to do it? It's not something that we're born to be able to do. It is a skill that needs training, a profession. Chris doesn't mind a bit of cringing at the role play, bit of cringe. Chris likes a bit of role play. Chris, you can come on my role plays anytime. Philip, role play is never the same as sitting in front of the real client. No, it isn't. Philip, here's the thing, Philip. I was waiting for somebody to do that. Yes, it is a bit of a rehearsal. Let me just challenge you on that one, Philip. I like a bit of a challenge. So, Philip, you're right. It isn't the same. But here's the thing. If you were to ask any professional musician, any professional singer, actress, actor, football player, sportswoman or sportsman, how many times do they actually do the real thing? For footballers, it's maybe once a week. But what do they spend 90% of their time doing? Is practicing. That's what they do. Imagine if like a multi-million-pound Ronaldo rocked up and said, you know what, I can't really be able to do the practice. I'm just expecting to do the real thing on Saturday. Professions don't work like that. Sales is a profession you need to be trained in and practice. And role play is the only way to do it. Just like when you're a footballer, practicing is the only way to do it. I've got a couple of comments there, which I will come back to shortly. So yeah, I know I can do it, but I avoid it. Role play is okay. Hate when you're ignored or negative response. Yeah. Okay, absolutely right. So a little bit more about selling. So I want to share with you what actually is the process of selling. Now, this is something that we quite often don't even think about because we've not been trained to do it as a process and as a profession. So I'm going to share with you the world's simplest sales process that not only me, but any sales trainer across the world will recognize, and many of you who've been on sales training will recognize this as well. So I'm not sharing anything new, but I'm going to share it with you because it's important to understand the process. So when we talk about a sales process, what is number one? Number one is we prospect. What do we mean by that? We find leads and we find our ideal clients, and we understand where they are and, you know, in terms of our marketing approach, where they might be and how we're going to reach them. So we start prospecting to find leads. Sounds pretty straightforward. Number two, we need to engage with these people. Now, we need to engage with them and build really good rapport, because they need to know us, like us, and trust us in order to buy from us. And then number three, and this is where all the selling is done, we need to get to the problem. So our clients, or our ideal clients, have either got a problem that they can't or won't solve for themselves, or they want to say, for example, grow a business and they know that they could be getting better results, or they could get better benefit if they did things in a different way. So there's sometimes an upside to what our proposition can deliver for them, as well as just solving a problem. But number three is where all the selling takes place. Now, how do we get to a problem or to people's problems? Well, there's only one way we can do it, really. And this is what I want you to all think about now. Right now, you are all going to become a new profession. And this is what happens in number three. So we're all pretty bad at listening as human beings. And many of us are so bad at listening that we actually pay people to listen to us. Can anyone tell me in the comments, what is the profession in which somebody just literally asks questions for a living and doesn't ever give any answers? They just ask questions for a living and listen. They ask questions and they listen. What is that profession? Hit me up in the chat, guys. And I'll say, a therapist, yes. And a coach, yes, absolutely. Therapists and coaches and counsellors, that is exactly what they do. Counsellors, journalists, good one, Steve. That's exactly the same skill. Steve, that's a really, really well observed profession. Yeah, all of those professions are paid to ask questions, to get to what's really going on. And being a great salesperson is exactly the same. The key skill of the best salespeople in the world is not to push a product on somebody or to hold a gun to somebody's head and tell them all about your proposition. It's the opposite. It's to ask, not to tell or to push, but to pull. So getting to the problem is all about asking questions and then zipping it, listening to the answers and having a conversation. And that's it. That's where all the selling is done. And the reason all the selling is done there is because if our clients do not have a problem that we can solve, then we're not going to sell to them, are we? And somebody mentioned this really early on in the webinar. They said, well, I don't like selling because it's persuading somebody to buy something they don't need or want. No, it isn't. That's 1980s selling. Selling for the modern day buyer is just helping them to solve their problems. We're never going to sell to anybody who doesn't need or want our product. So then, and only then, at step 4, do we present our solution. And we only present the part of the solution that's relevant to what the customer wants. So, for example, if our proposition has dry ice and dancing girls, you know, has all that going on, but our client doesn't want that, we don't mention it. Because we don't want to oversell. We don't want to oversell to the client and start pushing them again. We just want to sell to them what it is they actually need and want. Then we'll probably overcome some objections. Then we'll have to close. And we do need to learn how to close assertively, but not in a pushy way. And finally, we need to be able to ask for referrals and make our clients into raving fans. Sorry, follow up and close as well. Now, 2 things on this. Write this down, guys. Number 6, or actually, I'm going to ask you, how many times on average do you guys follow up? Oh, sorry, I don't know what I've done there. Megan, I didn't mean to make you all big, and I don't know how I've done that. So I'm just going to try and make myself big again. I don't know how to do that. Technology, I told you guys. If anybody knows right now how I can go back onto full screen, could they let me know? Within 48 hours, sorry, I couldn't hear that question. So the question was, how many times do you guys normally follow up? Okay, 8 out, okay, I couldn't hear the 8 to 10, 3 to 11 at a reasonable pace, around 5 times, okay. Okie dokie. Okay, so a bit of a mixture. I'm just going into the chat now. So a bit of a mixture. Okay, inconsistently. Chris, I like your honesty. What am I following up about? This is if you've done, for example, a proposal or you've done a quote. How often would you follow up after that? Every time, but if I don't make the sale during the call itself, then it's not a sale. I can't seem to close after the call. Oh, that's interesting, Beth. Okay, that's probably worth looking into a little bit. Okay, every time. Right, a bit of a mixture. Okay, but the good news is you are all following up. So here's a little bit of theory for you. On average, the average salesperson follows up once after a proposal or a quote or a phone call, or, you know, I'll give you a call again, but they don't follow up after that. And it takes on average 5 to 7 follow-ups in order for somebody to make a final decision. And I have a client at the moment over in Northern Ireland in Belfast who, as you will know with the news today, we're not sure what's going to happen with the training, but I think I've followed up with them between 7 and 9 times at the moment, at least. And that is still a client that's really interested in working with me. So we do need to follow up. Remember to put ourselves in the client's shoes. We may not be their priority. And quite often they're really relieved that you phone them because they go, oh, I've been meaning to phone you. So make it easy. Make it easy for them to buy, not hard for you to sell. And then finally, on those referrals and raving fans, do not be afraid to ask for testimonials. Again, think about this. When was the last time you asked for a testimonial? Ask for as many testimonials as you can from your clients that you know are really happy with you. Again, 90% of our clients will be happy to give you a testimonial, but only 10% of business owners and sales professionals ask for them. So don't forget to ask for those. So my first 2 tips is follow up more, ask more questions to get to the problem, stop pushing your product onto somebody that they don't need or want, and make sure you ask for testimonials. So let's keep going. So why do so many people not like selling? Well, there's quite a few reasons, but here are 2 of the big ones. Number 1, nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody, which is why you guys don't like it. Some of you don't like it. But why generally when we hear the word sales and selling, we get that kind of, oh, now Tim's raised his hand. Megan, you might have to text me and tell me what I need to do with this. If Tim's raised his hand, I think that means he wants to ask me a question, I think. Tim, you're going to have to just bear with me here. My abilities to, I think Tim wants to ask a question. I think that's what you mean. Tim, is it possible to put your question in the chat, Tim? If that's possible, that would be absolutely brilliant. Thank you. So yeah, nobody wants to be sold to because it feels like this. When somebody sells to you, it literally, have a look at me now, it feels like this. Like that. Literally somebody's pushing you into something, or they've got you like that. Nobody wants to be on the receiving end of that. And if any of you have been on the receiving end of that, that's one of the reasons as well that you don't like selling, because that's what you think it is. Well, you've probably watched too many of those films like The Wolf of Wall Street. So selling is none of those things. So we need to make it easy for the client to buy, not difficult for us to sell. So just think about this. Are you pushing your product and service, or are you pulling the problems and the pain from your client and solving them with your products and services? That's the big differentiator. Stop pushing and start pulling. So that's why we don't like it. Other reasons we don't like it: we may well have been taught to do it wrong. Certainly at the early start of my career in the early 1990s, it definitely wasn't a consultative modern day sale like it is now. It's had a different approach. And there are still some industries that use those old style approaches, unfortunately. And I think you probably know who they are. Sales isn't pushy, but we think it is. We're so enthusiastic quite often and entrepreneurial about our product and our service. As soon as somebody might have an inkling of interest, we kind of go, oh, and it does this, 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 and it does this. And meanwhile, your potential client is just kind of going more and more and more to sleep, because they might say, wow, that's amazing. It does all of that, but I don't need it. And that is the key thing. If they don't need it, they won't buy it. And then why also do we not like sales? It's because it is a profession, and because we've not been trained to do it, because we don't have the skill. And part of that skill is really knowing what to say, knowing when and how to say it. as well. So they're all really, really key skills that we need to learn. So I'm just going to go forward in my notes and talk about giving you some top tips of how we can start to really change those negative thoughts about selling and make them into positive thoughts about selling. And here's my first thing on that. Clients do want to be in healthy business relationships. So all business owners want to have relationships with other business owners, suppliers, as well as clients that are healthy and they are in good rapport and that they get on with people. And that's what sales is. It's a healthy business relationship. Number two, clients do want to be listened to. So they don't want to have products pushed on them, but they do want to talk about their businesses and their challenges and their problems and their wins and their growth success and the things that they've achieved. And they want to be listened to, which is the key skill of sales. And clients do want their problem solving. So sales is all of those things. It's a relationship. It's listening to our clients and asking them questions and solving their problems. That's all really, really positive stuff that we can say about selling. Because ultimately, and this is really important, for me, selling is solving. So if ever you're having a bit of a wobble about a call that you're about to make, it doesn't have to be on a phone that size, obviously, but I certainly had one like that in the early 90s. Selling is solving. It's not pushing. It's not forcing. It's none of those things. Selling is solving. Write that down somewhere, maybe on a post-it note or something like that. Selling is solving. Okay, so I've got 5 things I want to share with you. How we're doing for time. Oh, we're fine for time. 5 things I want to share with you that will really help you to create confidence and ease when it comes to selling and sales. And the first one is you do need to create a sales plan. So let me know in the chat while I just catch up on some of the comments as well. Have you got a sales plan? Let me know if you've got a sales plan. Okay, not personally. Okay, yes. Wow, I'm impressed, guys. Many of you do have a sales plan. Okay, I do for my customers, but not personally. Yeah, that's interesting. Tim's got one, but it's not a structured one. That's absolutely fine, Tim. No problem at all. Some have, some haven't. No, just go with clients' needs. Absolutely. It's a bit of a mixture. I don't have, some do, some don't. Okay, so we've got a bit of a mixture, which is absolutely fine, which is what I'd expect, to be honest. I'm really impressed that many of you do have a sales plan. I have a sales plan. Is it a huge, great big robust document? No, it's not. But what it does have in it is goals and targets. It's also got my prospecting plan in there. So I've got like almost 2 plans. Well, almost 3 really. I've got a prospecting plan, which is about lead generation. So that's a half marketing, half sales plan. That's about how I'm generating my leads. I've then got a sales plan, which is all about how I am going to grow my business with those new leads and onboard people into my business. And then I've got a separate plan, which is more around key account management. So how am I managing my larger, more enterprise style clients on a key account basis? I should have all right, what does the sales plan look like? Priya, I thought you'd never ask. Priya, I will show you what a sales plan looks like and also give you something to download for free. So you look at it. So yeah, you do need a sales plan because why? The reason you need a sales plan is because of this. Because if you don't know where you're going, any road will do. So we want the road straight down the middle, A to Z. We don't want to start here, we want to know where we're going. If we don't know where we're going, we'll take any old road. And certainly at the moment, you know, my roads had to change a little bit in the last 6 months. My road that I had in early March had to change. So I've had to get off the M6 and go on the M6 toll road, which actually, in many ways, has been a bit of a bonus. I have had to invest in going in the M6 toll road into new technology, new ways of working, an online training school, running my normal face-to-face training online, which I'm going to tell you about shortly, obviously. So yeah, I've had to get off the M6 and go on the M6 toll road. And quite often we do need to do that. You need to have that flexibility, and that's what sales plan will enable you to do. You can download a sales plan template, which is literally a kind of join the dots template on the Sales Training Academy, which I am the founder of. So I'm the founder of the Sales Training Academy, and there are so many free resources on there, some of which you can see. You've got my 50 killer questions, We need questions to get to the problem. Closing techniques, there's all sorts of ebooks on there that you can download. So you can definitely download that free from the Sales Training Academy. So why do you need a plan? Because you need to know what the future looks like, Malcolm X. You need to start with the end in mind, Stephen Covey. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And again, that quote from before, if you don't know where you're going, that's Lewis Carroll. Any road will do. And that's Lewis Carroll from Alice in the Looking Glass. Okay, I've got a couple of comments that I just need to catch up on. Oh, thank you, Pam. How you recommend you need positive feedback? Oh, thank you very much, Pam. And I've made some changes to it this time. So I run an online sales mastermind. And last time we didn't do a sales planning module because the original mastermind was based on the fact that you'd already have a number of leads and you're ready to convert those using sales skill. Whereas this time I'm including a sales plan as part of the mastermind, and we're going to do that in week 1. We're literally going to create a sales plan that you will work with over the next kind of 3, 6, 9 months. So why do you need a sales plan? That's why. Okay, number 2. What do you need to do? Number 2, you need to be able to answer the 5 questions that every client wants answering before they become a paying client. Now, I normally run a 5-day challenge, and those of you who've been on a challenge before will know 5 questions in 5 days is how my challenge works. Now, unfortunately, I've not been able to run the challenge this time, and I don't know when I'll be running it again. It might be late November, early December. It might have to go to next year. I am running another one, but for now, I'm sharing this with you instead. So the first question that clients want to know is, what do you do? And they want to know how you're going to help me. And also, why should I care? By the way, if you can hear some drilling, that's my joiner in the background. There's nothing I can do about them. It's just life, isn't it? Anyone could walk in at any minute. So how can you help me? But they want to know what's in it for them. What's in it for them? And why should I choose you? And those 3 questions, for some reason as business owners, we just find it really difficult to answer those succinctly without waffling on and on and on and on and on. So that's why we need an elevator pitch. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Then question number 4, how will I know that I need you? That's about them, the client themselves, coming to the conclusion that they need you because you've asked them such good questions. They've identified what their problem is and the cost of their problem. Which brings me on to question number 5. All our clients want to know, well, how much is this going to cost me, Gilly? How much is your sales training going to cost me, Gilly? And this is what I say to people. If somebody has got a problem, no matter what that problem is, and if the cost of that problem to them is higher than the cost of your solution, they will buy. Because the cost of their problem is higher than the cost of your solution. Alternatively, the benefit of your proposition is higher than the cost of it. Either way, both of those things work. And those questions are the heart of everything we do in sales. And if we can't answer those questions or create that need in number 4, then we're not going to be able to sell. And for some reason, we find that really difficult to do 1, 2, and 3 succinctly. If a potential client understands what you offer, and if it's attractive, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. You just need to take time to optimize number 1, 2, and 3 to create that really empowering sales message and then bring that value to the marketplace. But here's the thing. It is one thing to be really good at what you do, but a very different thing to be good at selling it, because selling is a skill. And selling needs formulas, and it needs structure and frameworks in order to help you to sell. So that's number 2, is answer those 5 questions. And one of the ways you can do that is by creating an elevator pitch. So hopefully you are ready for a short video. Let me just share this with you. I've just realised you might not be able to hear that. Megan, can you let me know? Good morning. I'm Gilly Thompson from the Sales Training Academy. We're one of the UK leading sales training companies. Simply put, help your sales team to smash their sales targets. Really good. Actually, how to look at their things. They have to be honest. Okay, my apologies, guys. That's my fault. It doesn't like playing the video. It's my fault, guys. I said I wasn't very good with technology. I didn't lie. What I haven't done, I've just realised, is I didn't tick the box at the start of the share that says share the volume. So it doesn't matter though, because this is me delivering my elevator pitch to Lord Sugar, also known as my husband, who's currently appearing here in the Sales Bunker, as you might have noticed. But it is on the Sales Training Academy. So you can watch it on there. So I'm not at all. Let's see if I can just move on. Okay, right, we'll move on from that. And this is the format I'm using, basically. So this is the format that I'm using to do my elevator pitch. So you can watch that on the Sales Training Academy, no problem at all. And you can also download this, which is the structure that I'm using. And this is the structure that we'd normally go through on a 5-day challenge. And everybody creates this and then delivers it as a sales call at the end of the week. So this is all yours to have. And Megan, I know, has already shared with you the link to the Sales Training Academy, which is just totally free of charge. And this course is completely free of charge, so you can just sign up for that. But you do need this, because if you go to networking events online, you will be surprised, or you might have actually noticed how difficult other people find it to simply tell you what it is they do and how they can help you in their businesses. So a quick question for you. How many of you have been to an online networking event or a face-to-face networking event where they've noticed that other business owners really struggle to tell you who they are, what they do for you, and what makes them different, and share any kind of proof, and certainly to do that in less than a minute? Yeah, all the time. That is really common. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it is a lot, definitely. Many times. Yes, exactly. It just happens all the time, and it's happened to me so many times that when I join online networking things now, and I use this, and literally it takes me 45 seconds. Literally, whoever's hosting the meeting will always say, follow that, because it makes such an impact. But under 45 seconds, there's no waffle. I love that honesty. Yes, I waffle. Most people waffle because they don't have a framework. So that is my third top tip, is do have a framework in order to create a really impactful opening when you meet people for the first time. Okay, number 4, we need to be able to build rapport, and we need to be able to have a conversation. Remember that clients need to know you, like you, and trust you. So I would like to just share a little exercise with you. And I want to introduce you to 2 salespeople. So our 2 salespeople are, here they are. We've got salesperson A and salesperson B. Mrs. A and Mrs. B, if you like, it doesn't really matter, or Mr., I don't mind which way we go. Now, they both have exactly the same product, it's exactly the same price, it has exactly the same technical spec, but we just get on really well with person A. We don't know why, we just do. We know them, we like them, we trust them. Person B, we think they're a bit of an arse, to be honest. Yeah, we don't understand them, we can't get to the bottom of what they're doing, they just don't resonate with us, they don't seem to listen to us. That's really important. They might be trying to push their product on us a little bit as well. So this isn't a difficult question, guys, but who are you going to buy from? A, you get on really well with, or B? Obviously hit me up in the comments. Not a difficult one, this. Who are you going to buy from? Yeah, absolutely. It's not difficult, this one, is it? Let's be honest. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go A, aren't we? Every time. Let's go A every time. So now here's the thing. A and B have now changed a bit. Person A, yes, Nicola, you do need to enroll first, but you just enroll on the Sales Training Academy, which is free of charge, and download as much things as you want. That's it. Obviously, you will go into one of my email thingy-majiggies, but there's loads of free content on there. Now, person A has decided to put their prices up by 10%. So same product, does the same thing. Person A has now put their price up 10%, but you still get on with them really well. And this is a long-term business relationship, not a one-off transactional sale. Person B you still think is an arse. Who are you going to buy from? Hit me up in the comments. A or B? Who do you want to buy from? A or B? Yeah, A. Yeah, absolutely. A, yeah. A, unless they let me down. Yeah, it's a good point. Still A. Yeah, still A. Double A. We've got a double A from Michael. Still A. And that's because that rapport and that ability to get on with people and understand people is absolutely key in terms of what we do in business. A very simple exercise, but a very effective one. We do need to be able to get on with people, and we're all different. So we're all different. And as you know, I am a personality profile accredited trainer, and the DISC profile has 4 different styles: dominance, influencing, steadiness, and conscientiousness. Now, those 4 styles need different things from us, and we need different things. So I want you to have a think about who you think you might be. Okay. And in order to think about that, I'm going to give us a scenario. So here we are. We're all at a lift. And we're waiting for a lift. And the queue is getting bigger and bigger. There's kind of, a big group of people waiting for this lift. Now, the lift just doesn't seem to be coming. Are you this person? You do this on the, the little button. And then finally you go, like that. Now, if that's you, be honest, if that's you, let me know. You're a D, potentially. Obviously, this isn't scientific, but potentially you're a D. You're direct, results-orientated, firm, strong-willed, and forceful. So let me know if you think that might be you, if you think you might be a D. Now, an I, well, actually, no, let's see who this might be. So now, still at the lift, still a big group of people, the lift arrives, and this person does this. They step back, put their arm back, and let people go in front of them. Those are our S's. Those are our S's. Now, our S's are even-tempered, accommodating, patient, humble, and tactful. So you could be an S, potentially if you're, quite polite. Now, are you this person? So you're at the lift, you've probably got a coffee or a juice, you're chatting to people here and here. Where are you going? What floor are you going? Oh, I don't know why this lift's taking so long. Do you know, I was at a meeting yesterday when blah, blah, blah happened. The lift arrives, you kind of dart forward, kind of, potentially knocking a few people out of your way on the way, and you just carry on chatting. And everyone in the lift knows your entire life story. Now, if that's you, you could be an I. You could definitely be an I. You might not be, but you could be an I. And finally, could you be this person? So the lift arrives, you stand back, you just make sure there's enough space for you. Yes, there is. You walk in the lift, you have a look at the sign next to the floors, and you can see the weight restriction and the restriction on the numbers of people that should be in that lift, and you start tutting. In your own head, you're tutting because there's more people in that lift than there should be. Now, if that's you, you're a C. Well, you might not be, but potentially you're a C. So tell me who you think you are. I think you've all identified yourselves. Oh, lovely, right, you've got a bit of a mixed bag in here. We've got some Ds and I. Oh, okay. Amanda's a D. Felix thinks he's an S. Janine thinks she's an I. Tim's a D and a C. Look at that. Oh, it's all piling in now. It's all coming. Right. So, okay. Lindsay might be a D and an I. Okay, I'm an ID. And that's the thing. We can be a little bit of everything. So some people are DIs, some are IDs, some are ISs, some are SIs, and so on and so on. All of us have a little bit of everything within us. But who do you think, this is really important, who do you think your clients are? So who is your ideal client? Let me know in the chat. Who is your ideal client? Are they Ds, Is, Cs, or S's? Let me know who you think your ideal client is, because depending on who they are, they need different things from you in order to get into good rapport with them. So for example, Mabel, hers are mainly C's, as are Janine's. So, and okay, Amy's the same. So I used to sell to C's, and I'm an I. So C's need accuracy, patience, slower talking, analysis, results driven, and logical thinking. I don't do any of those things because I'm an I. So I had to flex my style as an account director to meet the needs of my clients in order for me to be that person A. If I'd have carried on being myself, my clients would have thought I was that person B. They just wouldn't have understood me. So think about that for a minute. This is important stuff. How do we get into good rapport with people? We have to flex our style to meet the needs of our customer. So that is my next top tip. And then finally, interested in doing a DISC training? Yes, Yeah, absolutely. Nicola, if you do want a disc report, just let me know. You know how to get hold of me. And they're not expensive to get done at all. A disc report is usually about £100, something like that. You might even be able to get one slightly cheaper online if you get it from one of the really big disc companies, but they are fascinating. You get a big 20-page report. So, and finally, and I have to say this, is use the phone more. If you are currently, as a business owner, relying on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and putting loads of content out there, you are inevitably pushing. Now, you have to do that to create prospects. I get that completely. I do it all the time. But I know those people aren't going to come queuing at my door asking for my product and service. I still need to speak to them. And picking up the phone right now is our second best option. If we can't meet face to face, a Zoom call would be best. If not, we need to pick up the phone. So if you send a lot of emails, if you rely on a lot of direct messages, unless it's a reason that you have to, you must use the phone more. And we really focus on that in my mastermind, because using the phone more and effectively will change your life forever. So just be honest with me in the chat, just as we're coming to the end now of our webinar, who feels that they should be using the phone a little bit more? Can you let me know in the chat, please? Should you be phoning? Yeah, Amanda knows she should. Philip, yeah, Helen should be. Michael, yeah, of course, Michael says. Georgie should be. Who said they loved using the phone? Somebody did. Julie, you're my only client who phones me. Do you know what? Right, that is so interesting. I used it right. That is so interesting. So Megan is my VA and, quite frankly, lifesaver of all things. And Megan and I have only worked together now for about 6 or 7 months, but she just said I'm the only one of her clients who phones her. So because I'm so used to using the phone, because it's the most powerful tool, it allows for much better communication, faster communication, clearer communication. She said, but she loves it. And also relationship and rapport building. It's just so much more powerful. If you're not using the phone more, definitely use the phone more. Shemaine says she needs to. Right, okay. I love you using the phone. Thank you, Nicola. Okay. So how can you create more confidence and ease? There are 3 things that you can do. And obviously, one of them is join my mastermind. My mastermind starts on the 26th of October, so that's a week on Monday, and it is an 8-week course. So it runs for 8 weeks. It takes about 20 minutes a day, and every Friday we have a Zoom call. At the moment, I've got 4 new people signed up to that, and about 8 from my last course, because when you join up, you can keep doing it. So once you're in, and it's held in a private Facebook group and on Teachable, which is where all my sales training materials are, and you get videos every day, and that will cover everything from creating a sales plan to closing techniques, right through everything, including asking great questions, creating value, objection handling. You get the idea. And we're going to do a little bit on social selling this time as well. Now, there is a cost, obviously, and the cost is either a one-off payment of £997 or £84 a month for 12 months. And I run the mastermind 3 times a year, so you can join it 3 times a year indefinitely until I retire, which I'm hoping isn't going to be that far away. So the details are there. Megan's popped them in there, so do have a nosy at that. What I will say is, if the cost of your current problem with your confidence or lack of phone calling or not really liking sales is costing you more than £84 a month, then you should join the mastermind, but only if the cost of your problem is higher than the cost of my solution. I will let the testimonials do the talking there. So that's one thing you can do. The second thing you can do, oh, sorry, yes, I forgot about this. During the mastermind, we also, on week 7, you make a sales call to me for your business, and we use this amazing piece of software by Refract, who I'm a business partner with, and it measures your call, how fast you talk, how many questions you asked, how effective you are. It gives all the insights into the call, and from that we can create a development plan for you. So we do that as well on week 7. What else can you do? Number 2, and I literally have never offered this before, but because I can't run my challenge this time, I'm offering this, and this is the first time I'm ever offering this. You can book a totally free of charge sales call with me. It's a sales strategy call. We'll talk about your business, what you want to achieve, what your goals are for the next few months, and to see if if the mastermind is right for you. It may not be right for you. So if you want to book that call, there you go. Megan's just put the link in there. There aren't limited places, it's just my availability. So those calls are, I think they start, maybe they start, no, I think they start to Friday, and then I've got some slots next week, but they will go. So if you do want to have that free call with me, honestly, I know you'll find this unbelievable, but it isn't. I charge £250 usually an hour. For most of my clients, that's what they pay me, £250 an hour. But obviously, you're going to get that for free. So if you want to book a call with me, you can. That's my absolute pleasure to do that. Once they're gone, they're gone. But if you can, do that. And thirdly, you can just go on the Sales Training Academy, which is completely free of charge. There are things on there that you have to pay for, but you don't have to pay for them. So I would really recommend you download that. Those are my 50 killer questions that you should be asking your clients. Don't ask them all. It'll be like an interrogation. So don't ask them all. But I would really recommend you read that. And I would also, oh, sorry, Lord Sugar. I would really recommend as well that you download that. That's my effective closing techniques. So there are 8 different closing techniques in there that you can just read that ebook and practice them. Remember that practice from earlier, Phil? So, and you are more than welcome. So before I sign off, because I'm very conscious that I've run over slightly, but only very, very slightly. Does anybody have any questions? I know Tim, you had your hand up earlier. Did you have a question for me? If you've got any questions, pop them in there. If not, let me let you know. I will send you this tomorrow. Yeah, if anybody wants to ask me a question, just plonk it in there. Can you put it in the chat, guys? I have no idea how to do that hand thing. Not on the webinar. I do want a meeting, but not on the webinar. Put your questions in the chat. To let you know, I will send you this webinar for you to rewatch tomorrow, along with the links that we've just talked about. They will be in there tomorrow as well. And I'm also going to send you something on Friday, which is a special little one-off thing I'm going to be doing next week as well. I can't tell you what it is. And it's something I wouldn't normally do. Marie, here it is again. If I prefer to chat in a less structured way, but I'm getting more clients, do you think I would get more clients if I were more structured? Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Tim, yes, you can. Tim, can you just click on the link? That's my pleasure, Jackie. Tim, if you just click on the link, or via the email I send you tomorrow, you can just book that in. Yeah, Mary-Louise, let me ask you this. Yes, you would get more clients if you're more structured. And I'll tell you why. Having a framework is only half of the story. Being able to build that rapport and being yourself here is the other half of the story. The two things together are why I've been so successful in selling. So, you know, I've earned a ridiculous amount of money as an account director, as a salesperson, as a business owner, as a sales trainer, since the age of about 23. And I've had a really successful career. Not because I've just relied on my rapport building skills and personality, and not because I've just relied on the training and the structure, but because I've got the two things together. And what that means is that when I present to a client or to you guys on a webinar, you're getting me, right? You're getting the real me. You're getting the me with the warts, the silly hair, the stuff that's everywhere. You're getting the real me, but you're getting the framework that's hidden behind that you don't see. And that framework is me knowing exactly where I'm going, the journey that I want to take people on, how I need to let them know that they need me, answering number 4, and all of the other things. So the framework shouldn't overtake our natural personality. We've still got to be ourselves. I've got a problem with rapport, but it's the framework I need. Yeah, no, I don't think you've got any problem at all with rapport, Marie-Louise. Jean, it's my pleasure. Enjoyed the webinar. Great advice. Jackie, my pleasure. Any other questions? There were a couple of other hands up. Have we got any more questions? Okay. No, Georgie, it's my absolute pleasure. Lindsay, thank you so much. It's lovely to see you, albeit virtually, Lindsay. And Boris is gorgeous. Lindsay's just got a new puppy called Boris. Amanda, it's my absolute pleasure. Right, in that case, it's been lovely to see you all. Have a wonderful hump day. We're over it now, aren't we? Do book a call with me if you'd like to. Get on the Sales Training Academy. And if you're not sure about the Mastermind or you want to ask me anything about it, just book a call with me. All right, guys, see you soon.